I remember the night Mia first told me she loved me deeply. Her voice shook softly as she whispered, "Aiden, I mean it tonight." I stared at her, surprised, and asked, "You really love me?" She nodded quickly, almost nervously, like the word scared her. I believed her instantly because I wanted her to choose me. Maybe that was my mistake, trusting too fast without thinking twice. Maybe everything started breaking right there, hidden beneath hopeful silence. The next morning Evan saw my grin and asked, "What happened?" I told him, "Mia said she loves me," and he frowned slightly. "Already? You sure it's real?" he asked while sipping his coffee. I laughed and said, "Yeah, man, it felt honest and true." If I had listened to his tone, things might be different now. Back then I didn't know how love can twist into knives. Tonight I sit alone replaying her voice echoing inside my mind. My room is quiet, but my thoughts keep dragging me backward. I whisper to myself, "You should have seen the signs earlier, idiot." But what did I know then? I was blinded by wanting someone. I close my eyes and hear her say, "Don't ever doubt me." I whisper back to the darkness, "I never did," and suffered. A knock hits my door softly, and Evan asks, "You awake?" I open it and say, "Yeah, just thinking about everything again." He steps inside and studies me like he's searching for missing pieces. "You barely talk today," he says. "You okay or pretending again?" I shrug and answer, "I'm fine, though even I don't believe it." He sighs and says, "That's the line people use before breaking." I shake my head. No breakdown tonight, just memories hitting hard. He sits on my bed and says, "Talk to me, man, please." I breathe slowly and tell him, I'm remembering her and that night. He nods and replies, "You gotta stop letting her haunt you constantly." His words sting because they are true, even if I hate hearing them. I whisper, "I thought she loved me," and my voice almost cracks. Evan answers, "Maybe she did, or maybe she loved being adored." His honesty hits harder than any lie Mia ever gave me before. He leaves after a moment, saying he'll check on me later tonight. The silence returns instantly, wrapping around me like something heavy and cold. My heartbeat feels loud, steady, like it's warning me about her. I stare at my phone lying dark on the table beside me. "Nothing's over," I whisper, unsure if it's fear or hope speaking. Then the screen lights up suddenly, bright enough to sting my eyes. A message appears from Mia, her name glowing like a reopened wound. My chest tightens the moment I see it, even before opening anything. My hand shakes slightly as I pick up the phone and breathe. I whisper, "Why now, Mia? Why do you keep coming back?" I don't open the message yet, I just stare at her name. It feels like she's pulling me backward, dragging me into something painful. I tell myself, "Don't fall again," though I know it's not easy. I can still hear her voice begging, promising, lying through perfect smiles. I blink slowly, trying to steady myself before reading whatever she sent. The room feels smaller now, like the walls know my secret fear. My fingers hover above the screen while my pulse climbs higher slowly. I whisper, "Please don't break me again," though she can't hear anything. I finally lock the phone instead of opening the message immediately. I close my eyes and breathe deep, trying to calm my shaking thoughts. But I know the truth already, her message means nothing is finished. Not for her, not for me, and not for whatever comes next. That I noticed the first change when Mia came home late 3 nights in a row. I asked gently, "You okay? You've been out a lot lately." She didn't look at me, she just said, "Work stuff, Aiden. Don't start." Her tone felt colder than the night air outside. I tried smiling and asked, "Why didn't you text me?" She shrugged. "Forgot. It happens." I nodded, but something inside me tightened. The next morning at breakfast, I asked, "You're leaving early again?" She sighed. "Please don't make it a problem." I raised my hands and said, "I'm not. I just want to understand." She looked at me for a second and said, "I'll explain later. Not now." Then she rushed out before I could say anything else. My heart felt heavy all day. When Evan met me after work, he saw it instantly. "Okay, what's wrong?" he asked. I said, "Nothing serious, just small stuff." He narrowed his eyes. "Small stuff becomes big stuff if you keep pretending." I shook my head. She stressed. "That's all." He stepped in front of me and said, "Aiden, trust your feelings. If something feels off, don't ignore it." I forced a smile. "I'm not losing her over paranoia." He sighed. "Just don't lose yourself." Later that night, Mia walked in again around 11. I stood up and said, "We need to talk." She rolled her eyes. About what? I swallowed my fear. About us. You're different lately. She laughed softly. Different? Really? I'm tired, that's all. I said, then talk to me about it. She placed her bag down and replied, I don't need to explain every step I take. I tried to keep my voice steady. I just want to know if something's bothering you. She stepped closer and said, Aiden, stop overthinking. You're making problems where there are none. Her fingers touched my arm lightly, almost like a distraction. I'm fine. We're fine. Okay? I nodded even though my gut screamed the opposite. As she walked toward the bathroom, something fell out of her bag. A necklace. Silver. Shiny. Not hers. I picked it up and asked, Hey, whose is this? She froze for a second before turning around. Oh, that? It's my coworker's. She left it in the office, so I grabbed it. I stared at it. You never mentioned that. She replied quickly, because it's not important, Aiden. I placed it on the table and whispered, it feels important. She stepped forward and said, please don't do this. I'm already stressed enough. Her voice cracked just slightly, and I backed off immediately. Okay. I'm sorry, I said. She hugged me lightly and whispered, I love you. Stop doubting me. But her hug felt thin. Almost hollow. When she went to shower, I stared at the necklace again. Something about it bothered me. Something sharp in my chest whispered, this isn't simple. But I pushed it away with both hands because I wanted her more than I wanted answers. Later, as we lay in bed, I asked softly, we're good, right? She answered, yes, Aiden. Stop worrying. I turned toward the wall and whispered to myself, I trust you, even though doubt was crawling under my skin. Before sleeping, I made myself a quiet promise. I would stop questioning her. But deep down, I knew the truth. My doubts weren't dying. They were growing. I found the truth by accident. It was a small vibration on Mia's phone while she showered. I didn't plan to look, but when the screen lit up, the name Noah flashed boldly. The message preview read, last night was worth it. Same time tomorrow? My stomach clenched so hard I almost dropped the phone. I whispered, no, this can't be real. My hands shook as I clicked the thread. More messages. More lies. More proof that everything she said to me was nothing but smoke. The bathroom door opened, and she stepped out with a towel wrapped around her. Why do you look like that? She asked. I held the phone out and said, explain this, Mia. She froze for half a second, just half, but I saw it. That tiny crack of guilt. Then she covered it instantly. She snatched the phone from my hand. Why are you touching my messages? She snapped. I said, don't turn this on me. Who is Noah? Why is he saying those things? She laughed. Actually laughed. You're reading too much into friendly jokes. Friendly jokes. I repeated. He said last night. What does that mean? She rolled her eyes. Aiden, you're acting dramatic. You always do this when you're insecure. Insecure? I whispered. You think this is insecurity? These are your messages. Your words. His words. She shrugged. Then don't believe me. I don't have energy for this right now. Her cold voice stabbed deeper than the messages. I stepped forward. Just tell me the truth. She tilted her head. The truth is you're paranoid. That's the real issue. No, I said. The real issue is you're lying. She smirked. Believe whatever helps you sleep. Before I could speak again, my front door opened. Noah walked in like he'd been here before. My chest tightened. He looked at Mia, then at me, and said, everything okay? I stared at him. So you're Noah? He stepped back slightly, glancing at Mia. Yeah. I'm a friend. A friend? I asked. Is that what you call this? Mia sighed loudly. Aiden, please stop embarrassing yourself. Noah scratched the back of his neck. Maybe I should go. No, I said. Stay. I want to hear both of you. Mia snapped, you're not interrogating us like a cop. I'm the one being lied to, I shot back. She crossed her arms. Nothing happened. End of story. I turned to Noah. Did something happen? He looked away. Mia, maybe you should just. She cut him off sharply. Noah, don't say a word. My heart cracked right then. The silence between them said more than any confession ever could. I whispered, how long has this been going on? Mia didn't answer. She didn't have to. Her silence was the truth. I laughed bitterly and said, I trusted you. She shrugged. And you'll survive. Did you ever love me? I asked. She looked at me like I was something she had outgrown. I thought I did. That's all. The words hit harder than the lie. Noah finally said, I'm sorry, man, but it meant nothing. I replied, don't apologize. You made your choice. Mia grabbed her bag calmly. I'm leaving before this gets worse. Worse? I whispered. It's already destroyed. She walked toward the door, heels clicking like nails in a coffin. She opened it, paused, looked over her shoulder, and said softly, almost kindly, you'll survive. The door closed behind her with a soft thud. My legs gave out beneath me. I dropped to my knees on the cold floor, staring at the empty doorway. My breath came uneven and shaky. I whispered to myself, who am I now? But I didn't recognize the voice. And when I finally stood and looked into the mirror across the hall, I saw someone broken. Someone I didn't know at all. That I met Evan at our usual cafe, hands gripping the mug like it was my only anchor. I can't keep this inside anymore, I said, voice tight. It's Mia. Everything, it's all lies. He leaned forward, eyes steady. Slow down, Aiden. Tell me exactly what happened. I swallowed hard. The messages. Noah. Everything she said to me, it was fake. She's been lying this whole time. Evan's expression hardened. I knew something was off. I felt it. I didn't want to see it. I said, my voice cracking. I kept hoping it was just stress or something else. But it wasn't. He put a hand on my shoulder. You're not alone, man. I've got you. I spent the next few days trying to work, but my head wasn't in it. That's when I met Lily Hayes, my new co-worker. She noticed before anyone else. You okay? She asked quietly. I forced a smile. Yeah, just tired. She frowned. You look worse than tired. You look broken. I laughed bitterly. Thanks for the pep talk. She didn't flinch. I'm not here to console you. You need practical advice. Stop hiding from the truth. Face it, or it'll eat you alive. Her words hit harder than I expected. Face it, I muttered. How? Start small. Look at what you know, not what you hope is real. She walked away, leaving me stunned. That night, I came home and went through Mia's things. Her bag, her phone, her apartment. Each discovery was a dagger, messages I hadn't seen, receipts from dinners I wasn't invited to, names I didn't recognize. One name, Daniel, made my chest constrict. I whispered to the empty room, how could she? I found myself pacing, yelling into pillows. Why? Why did you lie about everything? My voice echoed back, hollow. I slumped on the couch, hands over my face. Then I noticed something inside me shifting. The tears weren't just falling, they were washing something away. I thought about Evan's words. You're not alone. Face it. I realized that the pain could break me, or it could build me. And for the first time, I decided it wouldn't break me. The next morning, I tried to focus at work again. Lily passed by and smiled faintly. You okay? I nodded. Better. Thank you, for the words. She shrugged. Don't thank me yet. This is just step one. You've got a long way to go. Back at home, I sat at my desk, looking at the names and dates. Each lie she told felt heavier than the last. I was blind, I whispered. I let her control everything about me. But the whisper turned into a thought, I can take control now. I called Evan that night. I'm done hiding, I said. I need your help, to think, to plan, to fix me. Finally, he said, a relieved smile in his voice. We start tonight. You're stronger than you think. 4 hours, I pored over every message, every receipt, every clue. My anger simmered, but it wasn't destructive. It was fuel. Fuel to understand, to rebuild, to take back the part of me she had stolen. When I finally looked up at the mirror that night, I didn't recognize the man staring back, not the one broken by betrayal, but someone sharper, aware, awake. I whispered to him, this is just the beginning. Pain doesn't destroy you. It changes you. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something new, clarity. I couldn't sleep that night. The apartment was quiet, but my mind was a storm. Every memory of Mia hit me in waves, her laugh, the promises, the lies. I felt a strange mix of anger and longing, and it scared me. Evan called just as I was staring at the ceiling. You okay, man? I don't know, I admitted, my voice cracking. I keep thinking about her. About everything she did, and what I ignored. You're allowed to feel that, he said calmly. But don't let it pull you back into her chaos. You're past that. I feel like I'm not past anything, I muttered. It's like she's everywhere, in every thought, every shadow. Evan sighed. You need to face it, not run. Go through the memories. Name them. Take their power. I closed my eyes, picturing us. The park where she laughed so freely, the cafe where we argued over trivial things, the apartment where her whispers used to make me melt. But underneath it all, the lies I missed, the manipulation I allowed. I grabbed my phone and called Lily. I need someone to talk to, I said, voice raw. Of course, she replied softly. Tell me what's going on. I took a deep breath. I can't stop thinking about her. About everything I lost, and everything I didn't see. I feel haunted, I guess. You're processing, she said. It's normal. But remember, the past only controls you if you let it. I know, I said, swallowing the lump in my throat. But seeing it clearly, it hurts more than I expected. I feel weak, yet awake. Like I'm finally seeing the truth behind every lie. Lily was quiet for a moment. Sometimes pain has to break you a little before you can rebuild. You're stronger than you think, Aiden. And you're starting to see it. I nodded, staring at the blank wall. It's strange. I'm angry, I'm sad, but I'm also alive. I didn't know I had this much inside me. Evan's voice echoed in my mind. Take the memories, name them, and let them go. I think I'm beginning to understand, I said softly. She wanted me blind, dependent. But every moment I remember now. I can see her for who she really was. And I can see myself, too. My mistakes, my trust, my willingness to love blindly. Exactly, Lily said. You're reclaiming yourself. One memory, one thought at a time. I closed my eyes, imagining burning the lies, the betrayal, the pain, leaving only the lessons behind. I want to stop hiding from it. I want to feel everything, not run from it. You will, she said. And each time you face it, you get stronger. I exhaled, a long, shuddering breath. It's terrifying, but I think I'm ready. Ready to accept the shadows of the past, and finally step into my own light. Lily's voice was gentle. And you will. One step at a time, Aiden. You're not alone anymore. I sat there for a while, letting the words sink in, letting the memories flow and lose their power. I realized that the shadows weren't meant to trap me, they were a map, guiding me to the person I was meant to become. And for the first time in weeks, I smiled, just a little, knowing that even in the darkest memories, I could find the light to guide me forward, that I couldn't take it anymore. Everything, her lies, the betrayal, the anger, the grief, it all hit me at once. I screamed into the empty apartment, my voice bouncing off the walls. Why? Why did you do this to me? My hands shook as I grabbed her mug from the counter and slammed it down. It shattered. Pieces scattered across the floor, cutting me, but I didn't care. I stumbled toward the door. I need air, I whispered. The streets were empty, but the city felt suffocating. My mind raced in circles, memories and lies blending into one unbearable storm. I trusted you. I trusted you, Mia, I muttered, pacing. Every step echoed like a drum, each one driving the pain deeper. I didn't know where I was going, only that I had to move. My legs carried me aimlessly until I found myself standing outside Lily's apartment. I hesitated, breath ragged. Then I rang the bell. She opened the door, eyes widening. Aiden? What's wrong? I couldn't answer. I just stepped in, tears spilling, chest heaving. She didn't flinch. She led me to the couch and said softly, sit. Talk to me. Just talk. I slumped, burying my face in my hands. It's everything. Mia, she ruined me. My voice cracked, almost unrecognizable. Lily sat beside me, close but not too close, letting me spill everything. She lied to me about everything. Noah, messages. I trusted her, and now, my words faded into silence. She waited. When I looked up, she said gently, you're holding on to a person who never existed. The words hit me like lightning. I blinked. What do you mean? I whispered. She isn't the person you thought she was. You're mourning someone who was just an idea in your mind. You're clinging to shadows of lies, Aiden. I shook my head. I can't let go. I loved her. You loved an image, Lily said firmly. Not the truth. And it's killing you. I swallowed hard, heart racing. So, what do I do? How do I stop? You stop letting her control you. Right now. You focus on yourself. On your life. Your mind, your heart, they're yours to protect. She paused. You decide what's real. Not her, not the lies. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight in my chest lift slightly. For the first time in weeks, clarity pierced the fog. My fists unclenched. My breathing steadied. I can do that. I asked, voice small. Yes, she said, smiling softly. You can. And you will. I stared at the floor for a long time. I thought losing her would destroy me. It doesn't have to, she said. It can make you stronger. But you have to want it. I nodded, finally letting the truth settle in. My grief, my anger, they weren't chains anymore. They were signals. Warnings. And I could choose how to respond. I whispered to myself, I won't let her break me anymore. Lily stood and gave me a small nod. Good. Now, go home. Sleep. Tomorrow, you rebuild. I rose slowly, chest lighter than it had been in months. The streets outside seemed quieter, calmer. The storm inside me had passed, leaving something new, a decision, a purpose. For the first time, I realized it wasn't Mia controlling me anymore. I was in charge. And I whispered under my breath, staring at the night sky, I'm not hers. I'm mine. I sat in the waiting room, tapping my foot nervously. The receptionist called my name, and I followed the hall into Dr. Rowan Steele's office. Aiden, take a seat, he said calmly. His presence was steady, almost grounding. I sank into the chair. I don't know if this will help, I admitted. He nodded slowly. Therapy isn't magic. It's work. Are you willing to do the work? I swallowed. I think I have to. He leaned forward slightly. Tell me what's going on. I took a deep breath. Mia, she lied to me. About everything. I trusted her, and I feel broken. Angry. Confused. Broken and angry, he repeated, scribbling something. What about confused? Yeah, that too. I don't understand how I didn't see it. How I ignored the signs. He nodded. Let's start there. When did you first notice something felt off? I frowned. It started small, late nights, excuses, her tone changed. I pushed it away because I didn't want to lose her. And that pattern, he said, repeated itself. You ignored your intuition for fear of losing someone. Recognize it. I nodded slowly. I see it now. I should have listened to Evan, to myself. And now, I don't know. I don't want to be weak anymore. Dr. Steele smiled slightly. Good. That's step one, recognizing your own power. My phone buzzed suddenly. Mia. I stared at her name, heart tightening. I wanted to answer, to beg, to make it normal again. But I didn't. I put the phone down, breathing shallow. You resisted, Dr. Steele said. That's progress. I nodded, barely believing it myself. Later that day, Evan stopped by. You okay, man? He asked, raising an eyebrow at my pale face. I had my first therapy session, I admitted. It was enlightening. Evan smiled. See? Progress already. Feeling lighter? Little. But enough to know I'm not trapped anymore. At work the next day, Lily walked past my desk. You look different, she said quietly. I hesitated. I think I am. Therapy, Evan. I'm starting to breathe again. She nodded, eyes soft. Good. Keep it up. You're stronger than you realize. I smiled faintly. Thanks for noticing. By evening, I checked my phone again. Mia sent another message, this time sweet, innocent. I miss you. Can we talk? I read it and closed the phone. Not today, I whispered. And I meant it. For the first time, I felt a subtle power shift. Her attempts to manipulate me didn't work. The anger and heartbreak were still there, but now I had tools, people, and perspective to protect myself. Dr. Steele had helped me confront the roots of my pain. Evan reminded me I wasn't alone. Lily reminded me to stand. And I, finally, was beginning to choose myself over her lies. I leaned back in my chair that night, exhaling a long, shaky breath. I can do this, I whispered to no one in particular. I am done being her victim. And for the first time in weeks, my chest felt a little lighter. My thoughts weren't racing. My hands weren't shaking. I was breathing. Truly breathing. That I got the first text from Grace early in the morning. Aiden, you should see the chaos Mia's causing at work. People are talking. She's in trouble. I blinked at it, heart skipping a beat. Part of me wanted to feel satisfaction. Part of me felt empty. I called her immediately. Grace, what's going on? She's lying to everyone, Aiden, Grace said sharply. And this time, it's catching up. Her boss is furious. Her friends are confused and upset. She's losing credibility fast. I exhaled slowly. I didn't think it would happen so soon. You're human, Grace replied. But watch, this will unfold. And it's not you causing it. Later, Noah called me. Man, it's bad. Really bad. Mia's spinning out, and everyone is noticing. Everyone? I asked, disbelief in my voice. Yeah. Colleagues, friends, even family. She tried blaming you. And? I asked cautiously. No one believes her, Noah said. Not even close. She's standing alone. I leaned back in my chair, letting the news settle. I should have felt triumph. I wanted to. But instead, a strange heaviness filled me. That evening, I ran into Lily at the cafe. You look different today, she said quietly. I feel different, I admitted. Mia, karma seems to be hitting her. But I'm not celebrating. She raised an eyebrow. Not even a little? Not really, I said. I see the person she could have been. And it's sad. Lily nodded slowly. Healing isn't just about anger or revenge. You're seeing beyond yourself. That's growth. I thought about Evan and Dr. Steele, about everything I'd learned. I whispered, I guess I'm healing. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Mia. Please, we need to meet. I need to explain. I stared at the screen. My chest tightened, not with anger, not with desire, but with curiosity and caution. I whispered under my breath, you're too late. She called immediately. I let it ring once, twice, then went to voicemail. Her voice trembled on the message, Aiden, please. I didn't mean for this to happen. I need you to hear me. I put the phone down. I didn't want to answer. And yet, the ache of what could have been lingered. Evan called shortly after. You didn't pick up, he asked. I didn't, I admitted. She wants to meet. She says she needs to explain. Do you want to? He asked quietly. No, I said firmly, but I felt the pang of emotion beneath the surface. I can't. Not yet. I sat back, hands folded, thinking about the irony. Mia, who tried to manipulate everything, was now desperate. And I wasn't the broken person anymore. I whispered to myself, I'm not hers anymore. Grace texted again, she's losing friends fast. She's blaming everyone but herself. I read it, eyes softening. Maybe she's learning, I said. But I can't help her anymore. Not like I used to. I realized then that my sadness wasn't about her lies, or the betrayal, or even the heartbreak. It was about seeing someone who could have been different, and wasn't. And as I stared out the window at the fading light, I made a quiet decision. Mia could beg all she wanted. I would listen someday, maybe. But the person she destroyed no longer existed. I whispered into the quiet room, almost to myself, I've survived, and I'm moving forward. The phone vibrated again, Mia's name glowing on the screen. I didn't answer. I met Mia at the small park near my apartment. She was sitting on a bench, hands fidgeting in her lap, eyes red. Hi, Aiden, she whispered. I nodded. Hi, Mia. My voice was calm, but my chest felt tight. She swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I looked at her, taking a shaky breath. You did. You hurt me more than I thought possible. Tears ran down her cheeks. I know I messed up. But I didn't want it to happen like this. I didn't plan to lie, I didn't. Stop, I said softly, holding up a hand. Stop explaining. I don't need reasons. I need truth. And you gave me only lies. She buried her face in her hands. I was scared, Aiden. I didn't know how to be honest with you. I didn't want to lose you. I lost myself, Mia, I said, voice trembling but firm. Not because of you. Because I let myself ignore the truth. I trusted you blindly. She peeked at me, voice trembling. I still love you. I do. I wasn't brave enough to be honest. I wanted her so badly. I shook my head. You didn't break me, Mia. You revealed me. You showed me who I really was, who I allowed myself to be. Weak, blind, desperate to be loved by someone who couldn't love me back. I can't take back the pain I caused, she said, almost whispering. But You can't fix it, I interrupted gently. I can't go back to who I was before you lied. I won't. That version of me is gone. Her lips trembled. I understand. I just hoped, maybe. No, I said firmly. There's nothing left to hope for between us. The trust is gone. And I've realized I'm stronger without it. She looked down, silence stretching between us. Then she whispered, barely audible, I'm sorry for everything, Aiden. Truly. I know, I said. And I forgive myself for ever letting you control me. Her hands twitched, like she wanted to reach out. Do you hate me? I shook my head. I don't hate you. I just don't need you anymore. I'm moving forward, Mia. You need to live with your choices now. She nodded, tears still flowing. I never wanted this. I never wanted to lose you like this. I stood slowly, taking a deep breath. Then learn from it. But I'm gone. This is the last conversation we'll have. She looked up at me one final time. I hope one day you can be happy again. I will be, I said, voice steady, chest lighter than it's been in months. I turned and walked away. Each step felt like the world was shifting under my feet, unstable, yes, but also freeing. The weight of her lies, the heartbreak, the betrayal, they were behind me now. And with every step, I felt a little more like myself again. Stronger. Awake. Alive. I whispered to the empty air behind me, I am free. Detective Harris's office smelled like stale coffee and paper. I sat across from him, hands folded, heart thudding in my chest. Mr. Aiden, he began, looking over his glasses, thank you for coming in. We need your statement about Mia Harper. I swallowed hard. Mia, again? Yes, he said firmly. It's bigger than just personal issues. Fraud, stolen money, manipulating accounts, she's mixed you into it before, correct? I felt my stomach drop. I didn't know. I mean, she never let me do anything illegal, but I saw receipts, strange deposits. I didn't understand them. Harris nodded. Exactly. That's why we need your full account. Start from the beginning. I took a deep breath. It started small, gifts, dinners, favors, she made it seem innocent. But looking back, the receipts, the trips, she was funneling money, making me unknowingly part of it. I trusted her blindly. Did you confront her? He asked. Yes, I said. After I found out about Noah, her lies, everything. But I thought it was just betrayal. I didn't realize the danger. Harris leaned back. You were close, Mr. Aiden. Too close. She could have dragged you down legally if she wanted. I swallowed. I almost trusted her again. Even after everything. I can't believe I was that blind. You're not alone, Harris said quietly. We've interviewed people she worked with. Everyone confirms the patterns. She used charm and manipulation to cover her tracks. The worst part is, she's good at it. Clever. Dangerous. My chest tightened. So, all those small lies, it was just the surface. Harris nodded. Yes. And you, Aiden, were almost collateral damage. That's why your honesty now is vital. I exhaled slowly, heart still racing. I can't believe I let someone control me that much, without even realizing the danger. Most people wouldn't, he said. You survived. That's important. I nodded, thinking about the nights I cried, the therapy sessions, Evan, Lily, everything. It's strange, I admitted. I feel lighter. But also, shocked. Angry. Afraid, maybe. But more than anything, grateful I can walk away. Harris scribbled notes. You're safe now. That's what matters. Mia's deception went deeper than you knew, and you got out before it consumed you completely. I stared at the table, silent. The weight of everything pressed down, yet somehow it felt like a shield instead of chains. I came so close to losing, not just trust, not just love, but myself. My future. My life. Harris nodded again. That's why truth and awareness matter. You're already past the worst part. This is recovery. I whispered to myself, almost to no one, I survived. And now, I can move forward. Harris looked at me, serious. Stay alert. But live your life, Mr. Aiden. Don't let her shadow define you anymore. I stood, exhaling deeply. I won't. I won't ever again. And as I walked out of that office, the weight of Mia's web of lies didn't crush me anymore. It was just another layer of the past I'd survived and left behind. I woke up that morning and didn't feel the familiar weight on my chest. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it was there, a sense of possibility. Evan called as I was getting ready. Morning, man. How's the new day feeling? I smiled faintly. Different. Lighter. Like I can actually breathe again. That's what I like to hear, he said. You're really coming back. I think I am, I admitted. It's slow, but I'm learning to live again. Therapy, work, people who care. It's helping. Good, he said. You should be proud of yourself. I know I am. I nodded, feeling a small warmth spread through me. Thanks, Evan. Really. At work, Lily stopped by my desk. Hey, she said softly. You look at peace. Or at least closer than before. I chuckled. Closer, yeah. Therapy's tough, but it's worth it. I'm starting to understand my patterns, my mistakes, and how not to repeat them. She smiled faintly. I can see it. You're changing in a good way. Not just recovering, but evolving. I hesitated. It's strange. I feel like I'm getting parts of myself back, parts one didn't even know were missing. That's growth, she said simply. Don't rush it. Let it happen. I leaned back in my chair, eyes closing briefly. The apartment, the cafe, the empty streets, all the places that once held echoes of her lies, felt different now. Lighter. Empty, yes, but free. Later, I met Evan for lunch. You're glowing, man, he said. I mean it. I feel it too, I admitted. I'm rebuilding, slowly, but it's happening. I can laugh again without guilt. I can plan without fear. I can just be. That's all anyone can ask, he said. And you deserve it, Aiden. Don't forget that. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. For the first time, I think I really do. Evenings became a time to reflect, journal, and breathe. I went to therapy, spoke honestly, and stopped hiding my emotions. Each session chipped away at the pain Mia left behind, leaving space for hope. One night, Lily stopped by my apartment with coffee. You're doing well, she said softly. I just wanted to see you. I smiled, feeling an unfamiliar warmth. Thanks. I don't know if I could have done this without everyone, without you. She shook her head. You did this. I just reminded you that it's possible. I realized she was right. The power I thought I'd lost had never left me. It was buried under heartbreak, waiting for me to reclaim it. Later, as I sat alone, I whispered to myself, I survived. I'm stronger. I can live, really live. The phone buzzed. Evan's name flashed. Proud of you, man, the message read. I smiled, eyes closing. For the first time in months, I truly believed it. I deserved peace. And I finally allowed myself to believe that the ruins of my past were now the foundation of my future. That I woke to the soft light of sunrise spilling through my window. It felt different, gentle, yet powerful. I reached for my phone and stared at the message thread from Mia, still open from weeks ago. I took a deep breath and deleted it. Just like that. No hesitation. No lingering doubt. Evan called shortly after. Morning, man. Feeling good? I smiled, even though he couldn't see me. Yeah. Lighter. Free, maybe. It's strange, but real. That's what I wanted to hear, he said. You've come a long way. I have, I admitted. Pain forced me to see myself. Betrayal, it didn't destroy me. It revealed me. You're stronger than you know, Evan said quietly. Later, I walked through the city streets, feeling the air differently. The chaos of life still existed, but it didn't press down on me anymore. I passed a cafe and saw Lily sitting inside. She waved. Morning, Aiden, she said softly as I sat across from her. Morning, I replied. I don't think I've ever appreciated mornings like this before. She smiled. That's because you're finally here, fully present. You've learned to see life, not just survive it. I guess I have, I said, thinking back on Mia, on the lies, on every moment I'd felt trapped. I almost lost myself. But every piece of pain, it made me stronger. Wiser. Real. You deserve this, she said. At home, I closed the apartment door with a soft click. It felt symbolic, like leaving behind not just Mia, but the version of myself she tried to shape. I poured a cup of coffee and looked out at the sunrise again. I whispered to myself, almost as if speaking to anyone who had felt lost, pain forces growth. Betrayal clears illusions. And forgiveness begins within. I remembered Noah, Grace, Evan, Lily, everyone who had anchored me while I floated through the storm. I whispered a quiet thank you to them. They hadn't fixed me. They had only reminded me I had the power all along. The news would come eventually. Mia's consequences, her downfall, her regret. But I didn't need updates. I didn't need closure from her. I had my own. I texted Evan a short message, "I'm finally okay." Really? Minutes later, his reply came, "I knew you would be. Proud of you, man." I smiled and set the phone down. I felt the quiet victory settle into my chest, steady and warm. No flash of triumph, no anger. Just peace. I turned my gaze fully to the horizon, the city bathed in gold and pink. A new day. A new life. Mine. I whispered, softly but firmly, I thought losing her would end me, but losing her is how I found myself. And for the first time in months, I believed it completely.